If you're off to the beach, the park, going for a hike, or even just going into your backyard and you want to go and take your music with you, then you're going to need a good portable Bluetooth speaker. But with so many to choose from, which one do you buy? Well, in this video, we're going to be looking at some of the best from JBL. And with each of these at different price points with different pros and cons, by the end of this video, you're sure to find one that's right for you. Welcome to my tech gear. Let's get into it. Now, whilst these speakers are all different sizes, they do share a certain design aesthetic. There's a certain JBL-ness to this with a consistent design. All of them have this big JBL logo on the front, so there is no illusion as to who makes these speakers. Every speaker is also covered in this hard-wearing fabric. Now, I have owned JBL speakers for years in various versions or another, and I can definitely attest to the hard-wearingness of the outside of these speakers. And all of the speakers here have an anti-slip base, with the Clip 4 having this big base pad at the bottom so it doesn't move around on the desk. On the bottom of the Charge 5, you've got similar but obviously on a bigger scale. And on the Flip 6, well, you don't actually have as big a pad, but you do have this sort of raised notch at the bottom, and that stops the speaker from rolling around. All of these speakers are equipped with USB-C ports for charging, as well as a power bar to show you how charged the speakers are. On the Charge 5, which is this one here, I'm going to get these mixed up by the end of the review, but on the Charge 5, it's on the front here. On the Clip 4, it's on the top, and on the Flip 6, it's at the back. As well as all that, all these speakers are also IP67 rated. So not only are they waterproof, you can put this in a meter of water for up to 30 minutes, but they are dust proof as well. So you don't have to worry about taking any of these down the beach, in the water, in the sand. All these are going to be fine. There is one thing that all these speakers don't have. None of these speakers are equipped with a 3.5mm audio jack, so you can't plug an external audio source into these. Fortunately, all of them are equipped with Bluetooth 5.1, so you can connect these wirelessly to an audio source and that signal will be good and strong. Size-wise, it's pretty easy to work out which of these three speakers are the largest. The Clip 4 is easily the smallest here. It is about 3.5 inches wide and weighs just over a pound or 239 grams. Now you compare that to the Flip 6 here, this adds a good few inches to the width. This is about 7 inches long, weighs about twice the weight, and that's just over 1.2 pounds. And then adding almost another couple of inches again, we have the Charge 5. This is coming in at 8.7 inches long. This is weighing 2.1 pounds or almost a kilo. So there is a really big weight difference between the Clip 4, the Charge 5, and the Flip 6 that sits in the middle. So it gives you an idea of how portable or not these speakers are. There are a few unique things to each speaker as well though. The Clip 4 here looks the most obviously different from the other two, predominantly because of this carabiner that's here. Now this goes all the way around the outside, so not only do you have the clip, which allows it to clip to pretty much anything. You can put it on a backpack, you can hang it off a branch, you can hang it off pretty much anything. But this carabiner that goes all the way around the outside also helps give it a bit of extra protection, because if it knocks or if you drop it and it knocks on something, well, it's probably going to hit the edge here first. So it's a little bit more robust, I think, than the other two. It really does kind of feel quite bulletproof that you can just chuck it around, and I'm not really that worried that if I drop it, it's gonna break. And the controls for the speaker across the top here, you've got play, pause, you've got volume up and down, and then on the back of the speaker, you have the power button as well as the Bluetooth pairing button as well. And of course, you've got the anti-slip base as well, so when you put it on a table, it doesn't move around, which is really handy. Flipping over to the Charge 5 and the Flip 6, and well, these are obviously very, very similar. You can think of one as the big brother or the little sister to the other one. Control-wise, they're very similar on the top. So on the top of both, we have the play and the pause button. We've got the volume up and down, as well as the party boost button. We'll get to what that does later. The slight difference is in the power button. So you've got the power and the Bluetooth button on the top of the Charge 5, whereas you'll find those two buttons on the back of the Flip 6. Both these speakers also have two passive radiators on either side of the ends, and you can kind of stand them both upright, but the Charge 5, well, it looks a little bit weird. The Flip 6 here is really the only one that you can truly stand upright or have horizontal as well. The Charge 5 does have a unique feature that the Flip 6 doesn't. It has a USB charging port, so there is a reason why it's called a charge speaker. So you can plug anything using the USB-A port here, so you could charge your phone or pretty much anything off this speaker. What the Flip 6 does have though, it does have this lanyard at the back, and that makes it easy for hanging off backpacks, hanging off a branch, just hooking it onto the back of your pack and taking your music with you. Which is fine because the Flip 6 weighs about half of the Charge 5. I mean, I wouldn't really want the Charge 5 hanging off the back of my backpack. From a full charge on all these speakers, battery will last 10 hours, 12.5 and 20 hours, all on a single charge. Charge times for these do vary slightly. You'll get about 3 hours of charging on the Clip 4, 4 hours of charging on the Charge 5, and weirdly, this actually charges quicker than the Clip 4 because that charges up to full in about 2.5 hours. Now getting into the internals and the actual specs of the speakers inside these things here. So inside the Clip 4, there is a 4cm or a 1.57 inch full range driver. There's actually also a passive radiator at the bottom of here to help get more bass out of this. You'll actually hear how all these speakers sound when I get to the sound test later. The frequency range of this speaker is 100 Hz to 20 kHz, so it's not going to be a bass beast, and you get 5 watts of power out of what is a very compact speaker. And then if you move up to something like the Flip 6, well, there's actually 2 speakers in here. So there's an 18mm woofer dedicated to the bass and the mid frequencies, as well as a 16mm tweeter dedicated to those higher frequencies. And frequency range wise, this does 63 Hz to 20 kHz, which is a lot better than the Clip 4, so you'll get far more bass out of this. And the power on here is a big step up as well. You will get 30 watts of total power out of this speaker, 10 watts from the tweeter, 20 watts from that woofer. And then jumping up to the big boy, which is the Charge 5, again, there's 2 speakers in here as well, except these are bigger. There is a 90mm driver in here for the mid and the low frequencies, and a 20mm tweeter for those high frequencies. The frequency range on here is better as well. It will go down to 60 Hz up to 20 kHz, so slightly better bass than the Flip 6, and the power here is more as well. You will get 40 watts of power from this speaker. There is 30 watts from the woofer and 10 watts from the tweeter. But power isn't everything, and the devil is in the detail. Again, listening test for this shortly. So are there any other unique features that set these speakers apart? Well, for the Clip 4, the most obvious one for me is that carabiner. Other than that, there's nothing like mobile app support or custom EQs or anything like that. You pretty much get what you see here. The Flip 6 and the Charge 5, however, definitely add more features. Now, both of them have this party boost feature, which is what I showed earlier in the video. Now, pressing that button allows the speakers to pair with each other, and you can actually pair up to 100 other JBL speakers all with one speaker, so you can play music from your mobile phone and it will play all at the same time from all the speakers. So if you're having a party and you want to have a few of these dotted around the house, it's a really cheap way of getting like whole house audio. It does only work with newer JBL speakers, so things like the Charge 5, the Flip 6, the Pulse 4, the Boombox 2 and the Extreme 3. If you've got something older like a Charge 3 for instance, you can't pair it with those. As well as party boost, you can also do stereo pairing as well. So if you've got 2 Flip 6s, you can pair them so you can have them as a left and a right channel, which is really good again for getting better audio, although obviously costs twice the price. The Flip 6 and the Charge 5 are supported by the JBL Portable app on your mobile phone. In that, you can use the 3-band graphic equalizer to tweak the sound of these speakers a little bit. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it does give you a little bit of customization. You can also use the app to do firmware updates on these speakers, as well as also using the party boost and the stereo pairing for pairing up with other speakers within the range. Price and color wise, these speakers are available in a range of colors, so you're going to be able to find the color that's exactly to your taste. And also price wise, well, the Clip 4 here is $79 retail. You have the Flip 6 at $129 and you have the Charge 5 at $179. However, no one pays retail for those. So quite often you will see these knocked off by about $30. So I've seen the Clip 4 for around $49, the Flip 6 under $100, you can typically get it for $99, and the Charge 5 you can typically see discounted down to $149. And I think that makes them a lot better priced. So with all the specs said and done, what do they actually sound like? Well, why don't you go have a listen for yourself, and I'll tell you what I think afterwards.
Don't go look at me with that look in your eye. You really ain't going nowhere without a fight. You can't be reasoned with them, don't be impolite. I've told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 times
So let me know which you preferred in the comments down below. Now, given its compact size, I think it's unsurprising that the Clip 4 was the lightest sounding of the three, but I think it does a really good job of pumping out some decent sound that still sounds good in spite of that. It doesn't match the other two in pure sound quality, but it's a great little belter in its own right. The other two are definitely in a class of their own though. What did surprise me was how close the Flip 6 can get to the Charge 5 in terms of volume and sound quality, despite it being quite a bit smaller. It doesn't go quite as loud or as low as in the bass as the Charge 5, and it's also not as clear in the treble as it's got a smaller tweeter, but it's not far off. The Charge 5 is still one of the best sounding Bluetooth speakers out there though. There's plenty of depth in the bass for a speaker of its size, and it doesn't sacrifice clarity in the treble to get it thanks to its dedicated tweeter. It is a great sounding portable speaker. So which should you buy? Well, all of these speakers I think are great options. Which one you get I think just depends on what you want to use them for. If you go hiking or traveling, then the Clip 4 is a great choice as it takes up almost no room in the bag, doesn't weigh much, and yet still sounds great for its size. If you're moving around a lot less, maybe you just want sound for out on the deck or taking somewhere in the car, then the Charge 5 offers the best sound, but at the cost of weight, and it is the most expensive out of the three. For me, the Goldilocks speaker, that perfect speaker in the middle, has to go to the Flip 6. It sounds almost as good as the Charge 5 whilst being a lot smaller and weighing less, and that makes it just super easy for just chucking in your bag and taking anywhere with you. And with all the speakers being dustproof and waterproof, well, as well as just generally being really bulletproof and well made, well, I don't think you'd be disappointed with whichever one you get. I will place links to all of them in the description down below so you can go check them out for yourself. Alternatively, if you want to check out some more great Bluetooth speakers, then be sure to check out the link up here. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to like and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.